Tansei, I'm Krisanashkate. Welcome to APTN National News. Thank you for joining us. Both the countries of Denmark and Greenland have apologized this week for the mistreatment of Indigenous girls and women for incidents that date back to the 1960s, including forced contraception. Last year, almost 150 Inuit women sued Denmark for compensation against the Danish Health Ministry, saying health staff violated their human rights when they were fitted with IUDs. Many of the women were teenagers at the time and were not aware of the procedure and did not give consent. The apology was made on Wednesday by Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen and said the procedures led to physical and psychological harm. It comes after Danish authorities reported last year that up to 4,500 women and girls received IUDs between the 1960s and mid-1970s. According to an Associated Press report, the procedure was allegedly used to limit population growth in Greenland. A report is expected to be released next month. Greenland has also acknowledged its involvement in forced contraception cases and is now working to award compensation to the victims. A man who has been missing in Pimichikamak Cree Nation in northern Manitoba since August 4th has been found deceased. 37-year-old Jeffrey Kolomea from Pimichikamak did not return home on August 4th, and Cross Lake RCMP said he was last seen in the community on August 10th. Family then reported him missing on August 17th. RCMP now say Kolomea was located deceased in a marshy area known as Nicole Bay near Pimichikamak. The investigation continues this week, pending the results of an autopsy. It has been 2 years since 25-year-old Lyndon went missing and was later found deceased in Lake Manitoba First Nation. Both his mother and the Manitoba RCMP believe he was murdered, and people in the community knows what happened to Lyndon and hope they will come forward with new information that could lead to an arrest. Our Kyler Minshall has more.
According to Manitoba RCMP, McIver left his mom's home in Lake Manitoba First Nation on August 26, 2023, to enjoy a night out with friends. The family became worried after McIver was not responding to his messages and began searching for him. 5 days later, on August 31st, McIver was found deceased in a wooden area in the community. McIver's mother, May Tawashing, had this to say about him.
Lyndon was outgoing. He loved hockey. He loved baseball. He loved sports. He was proud of his babies. He took care of his babies. I always wonder what my grandsons think. My grandsons think that he's away.
In September of 2023, a 36-year-old man was arrested and charged with second-degree murder in connection to McIver's death. But the charges were later stayed in court, with an RCMP spokesperson confirming the matter was no longer before the courts. McIver's mother says his death has affected the entire community, and she asks anyone with any knowledge of that night to come forward.
If it's your child, your grandchild, your niece, your nephew, ask them to talk, because it's affecting a lot of people. And I'm scared. What if these people go and do it to another family, and we don't want that?
RCMP Major Crimes continues to investigate and believe there are people in Lake Manitoba First Nation who know what happened and can provide more information to police. They ask anyone with information to call the Major Crime Services tip line at 431-489-8110. McIver's mother says she has not buried his ashes yet and will not until she has learned the truth about her son's death. Kyler Minshall, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
The Edmonton Police Service is responding to an incident that occurred over the weekend where some portions of it were posted online. The video has been shared nearly 10,000 times, but EPS says it only shows a brief portion of a larger police interaction. APTN's Chris Stewart has more.
An 8-second video was recently posted online that shows a woman on the ground, surrounded by 5 Edmonton police officers. One officer knees her in the back twice. Another officer then also knees her twice in the back. The family of Sandrina Twin says that she and a friend had too much to drink Saturday night at a pub and decided to sleep in the car instead of driving under the influence. The family alleges police approached her, and she got out of her car and the police attacked her. In a statement to APTN News, Edmonton Police Service says that it is aware of a video circulating on social media, but that it is only showing a brief portion of a larger police interaction. Police say they were called to the area around 4:30 a.m. to assist security with some uncooperative individuals at the rear of the location. While on scene, police were advised of a 33-year-old woman unconscious in the driver's seat of a vehicle. It was reported that the unconscious female was in possession of the vehicle's keys, and empty cans of alcohol were also visible inside and around the exterior of the vehicle. When the officer attempted to wake the woman and remove the keys from her possession, she became belligerent and aggressive. Additional police arrived on scene to assist with the arrest, at which the woman became combative and assaulted one of the responding officers, kicking them multiple times. Due to the aggressive behavior of the woman, multiple officers were required to successfully take her into custody. Police say the woman did not report any injuries, though paramedics attended the scene for assessment. Twin has been charged with assaulting a peace officer, resisting arrest, and provincial sanctions for impaired operation of her motor vehicle in relation to this incident. It was also determined that Twin was not the registered owner of the vehicle. Police say if a person is impaired and in the driver's seat with the keys in proximity, they can be charged with impaired operation of a motor vehicle. The charges have not been tested in court. The family of Twin has created a GoFundMe to raise money for a lawyer and the impound costs of the car. Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Edmonton.
Construction on a new housing development in Elliott Lake in Ontario is about to begin this week. But as CTV's Angela Gemmel tells us, the space is meant for urban members of the nearby First Nation.
Partners got the ball rolling on groundbreaking before crews continue with the construction work on new townhouses.
We recognize that there is a large Indigenous population here. At least 10% of Elliott Lake is Indigenous. And with that, we understand that they have a large housing list here as well. So any way that we can alleviate and help this community grow. 22 townhouse units will be built for off-reserve housing opportunities for Serpent River First Nation. The First Nation purchased the 1.24 hectares of land where the Dieppe Plaza once was. Over the last 3 years, we've done our own development within the First Nation. We've run out of infrastructure. So we don't have the capacity anymore to add on to our water line system. So here in a municipality, they have all the hookups that we need.
It's been important for our council to, further our relations with our neighbors. And I think with Serpent River, we've done that with open hearts and honesty, to be honest.
The housing will be similar to a larger development the First Nation is working to construct in Sault Ste. Marie. With a mix of affordable and market housing available for rent, each townhouse will have 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, and a single-bay garage.
Now that the initial planning process is completed with the engineering department and permitting is underway, groundwork will commence over the next week or so. We'll see townhouses starting to be constructed by mid-October.
The first of the units will be available for First Nation members to rent by early next year. The entire project is slated for completion by the fall of 2026. Angela Gemmel, CTV News, Elliott Lake.
Time now for a short break, but before we go, here's our Yellowknife video journalist Bruce Dela Cruz with a preview of what he's working on.
Hi there. From August 26th to the 28th, Entrepreneurship, a project dedicated to empowering Indigenous and community-based entrepreneurs, will be hosting the Empowering Innovation Spirit Conference. The conference will bring together and uplift Northern Indigenous entrepreneurs through workshops, networking events, and keynote presentations. Stay tuned for that upcoming story on APTN National News.
Welcome back. Quebec's Bill 97 has sparked intense debate, protests, and growing tensions. It proposes to reform Quebec's forest regime, and there is a broad consensus that changes to the bill are essential to preserve public peace in the province. As tensions reached a boiling point between the Atikamekw Nation and the forestry industry, APTN video journalist Jeff Dorn traveled to Wemotachi. Here is a collaborative report with Montreal reporter Stephanie Dasev.
The tension in this video is palpable. This recent confrontation between a truck driver and an Atikamekw man occurred at a protest camp in Wemotachi, Quebec. It recalled images from the 1990 siege of Gunasatake. The man in the video is Dave Petitquet, land defender and member of the Mamu First Nation. Last week, he called for a peaceful mobilization to counter a demonstration planned by a group of loggers.
Les gens qui sont violents, qui se retiennent pas quand ils sont en colère, on vous demanderait de rester chez vous, de ne pas venir appuyer. En contre, si tu as un grand cœur, capable de se tenir debout et le courage, oui, on vous invite à venir nous aider.
That confrontation was narrowly avoided. A meeting finally took place with the AFNQL, Atikamekw leaders, forestry stakeholders, and Quebec government ministers. This was a contrast to the situation in July when the AFNQL walked away from discussions with the Quebec government. Following the meeting, Minister Lafrenière called for calm and mutual respect on both the non-Indigenous and Indigenous sides. He added, "One thing is clear. We all agree that it is essential to modify the forest regime, in particular by making changes to take into account the rights of First Nations." Other points agreed upon at the meeting were that meetings would take place in each Atikamekw community to collectively establish forestry guidelines, that a pilot project will be set up to develop a management plan and implement new forestry practices that respect Atikamekw values, that the Kuku family's wishes will be respected. There will be no more logging on their land until adequate consultations with the territory chiefs. Even though the path to a resolution is challenging, the Council of the Atikamekw Nation acknowledges Mamu's recent mobilizations have helped move the discussion forward. The AFNQL issued a press release following the meeting. They reaffirmed the government has all the necessary elements to take political and legislative action to ensure the vitality of the forests. The AFNQL says it remains open to discussions and hopes to find concrete legislative solutions. As their press release stresses, the ball is in the government's court. But members of the Mamu First Nations want more.
C'est comme on voit depuis le début, ils ignorent les gardiens de territoire et Mamu Première Nation, ainsi que les chefs héréditaires. C'est l'impression qu'on a eu, le message qu'on a eu, c'est ça. Ils veulent faire leur tête, alors qu'on dit que toutes ces organisations-là sont illégitimes pour signer quoi que ce soit dans le territoire.
According to Mamu First Nations, band councils do not have ancestral rights over traditional territories outside of reserves. Therefore, Mamu First Nations also want to be involved in the discussion. Until then, Petitquet is not about to move.
On ne va pas arrêter nos actions. On va continuer jusqu'au bout. Tant aussi longtemps qu'ils ne reconnaissent pas Mamu Première Nation et l'Association des gardiens de territoire Nuruzaski, on ne va pas abandonner.
A report by Jeff Dorn and Stéphanie Desev for APTN National News, Wemotachi and Montreal.
The Muscopheating First Nation in Saskatchewan has just announced a new solar project that is in the works, and it will be entirely owned and operated by Indigenous people. CTV's Sierra de Souza Butts explains how the 32-megawatt facility will generate power to one of Saskatchewan's potash mines for 25 years and how it will work.
After 6 years of work, George Gordon Developments is breaking ground on its fully Indigenous-owned and operated solar project.
That's exactly what I want to prove to our own people and to our leadership and to government, that given the opportunity, we can do things for ourselves.
The $82 million Wichetowick solar project will provide power directly to the nearby K+S potash mine near Bethune through a 30-year agreement with Sask Power.
We are trailblazing here. This is a first. Sask Power has never had a power producer not sell power to Sask Power.
The project was made possible through Sask Power's new Renewable Access Service program, allowing large industrial customers to operate independently while using Crown's transmission lines. Once fully developed, the 32-megawatt facility will generate renewable energy for 25 years.
Potash mines are multi-decade assets, so we plan to be mining here for far longer than that even, so hopefully that's just, there's another opportunity even after that.
Sask Power sees a bigger role for our First Nations in power generation. We know that we need to meet the needs of industry, and industry often can do it faster than we can. So we want to enable those types of partnerships and arrangements to facilitate economic development in the province, but for sure and certainly economic reconciliation.
Ross says the new development will also provide generational change for Indigenous people.
As we manage this project, not only are we doing all the construction ourselves, but we're going to be doing all the operations, maintenance, and servicing ourselves as well. So there'll be a lot of career opportunities for our young people to get into this sector.
With construction getting underway, the solar project is expected to start producing power by late 2026. Sierra D'Souza Buds, CTV News, near Bethune.
Time now to tell you about this week's new web poll question. Over on our website, we ask, have you had any experiences with police violence? Your answers are, I've experienced violence from police, I've witnessed police violence, both, or neither. Go to aptnnews.ca/poll to have your say. Actor Tatyana Rose Baptiste from the Osoyoos Indian Band in BC is up next to tell us about all the new film Sweet Summer Powwow. We'll be right back. Walalin for staying with us, St. John's 20 and sunny, Charlottetown 20. Carteret 12, Happy Valley Goose Bay, rain in 12. St. Jovite 19 and sunny, Quebec City 16. Peterborough 19, Toronto 20 and sunny. 20 in Sioux Lookout, Big Trout Lake 8 and partly cloudy. Puckatawagan 17, Thompson 9. Gimli 19, sunny in Winnipeg at 22. Regina 25, Saskatoon 23. 21 in Meadow Lake, La Ronge 21. Sunny in Fort McMurray at 30, Peace River 33. 29 in Medicine Hat, Red Deer 33. 25 in Vancouver, Bella Coola 25 in rain. Prince Rupert Smoky and 13, Smithers 28. Beaver Creek 24, Whitehorse 22. 25 in Wati, Norman Wells 25. Tuktoyaktuk 7, Pulatuk 3. 11 in Whale Cove, rain in Baker Lake at 22. And 0 in Arctic Bay, Iqaluit 7 and sunny. Just in time for the end of summer, writer-director Daryl Dennis's film Sweet Summer Powwow is landing in theaters across Canada. The movie is about a young Indigenous couple who get a break from their troubled lives when they find each other through a summer of love on the powwow circuit. One of its young stars is Tatyana Rose Baptiste, who we recently spoke to. Here's that interview. Tatyana, thanks so much for being here and taking some time out of your busy schedule. Can you tell us, our viewers, a bit about your character Ginny in Sweet Summer Powwow?
For sure. Thank you for having me. Ginny is a young Indigenous woman on the powwow circuit. She is a traditional fancy shawl dancer. Her mother is the chief of her reserve, and she is a young woman whose mind and heart are at odds in this movie, whether she should follow her heart in the romantic sense and also follow her heart in her career and her passions, or if she should put them on the side and make her mother, the chief of her reserve, proud and her community proud.
Definitely a lot of layers in that character. That's awesome. Tatyana, how did you get involved with this film?
Yeah, it was the summer of 2023. I got a casting for Ginny by the director Daryl Dennis. I auditioned for it. I had to send in a tape of me dancing, contemporary wise, and they knew I had jingle dress experience before, not fancy shawl, so I had to learn that all over. But I had a call back. I met Daryl, I met Joshua, my co-star, and we had some chemistry tests, and then I got booked. And that summer, we did a 16-day shoot on Vancouver Island in Cowichan Bay area, and it was an amazing experience.
That's so awesome. And what was it like to get to work alongside such veterans as Graham Greene and Daryl Dennis?
Of course, it was amazing. Someone like me, I've been in the industry for 3 years now. I'm still pretty green, still pretty new, so just to be on set with literal veterans who have been in this industry for a long time, who have done so much for the community, especially the Indigenous community in media and Hollywood. It was a tremendous learning experience, and I'm so grateful for it.
That's so cool. And Tatyana, can you tell us why acting is something you wanted to pursue in your life?
For sure. Acting has always been something that I gravitate towards. I think I love to storytell. I think our people are great storytellers, and it's something that I valued. It's something that I saw in my community no matter what, whether it was an auntie around the campfire or whether it was my uncle or whoever, my grandpa. They loved to tell stories, and I loved it just as much, and I wanted to go down that route. I went to university for theater, and I found myself in film and television, and I really resonate with it, and I want to keep going and keep telling Indigenous stories and keep that alive.
Started with a dream and one thing led to another, hey?
Yeah.
No, that's great. And are you working on any other projects that you're able to tell us and give us a little sneak peek about?
Of course. So I have another feature coming out. It's an epic sci-fi. It's by the director Andrew Stanton. He's the director of WALL-E, Finding Nemo. So big names. That one should be coming out. I think it's going straight to streaming, Hulu. And then, yeah, it's called In the Blink of an Eye. So watch out for that.
Awesome. Well, we'll have to leave it there, Tatyana. We're all very proud of all of your success, and we wish you all the best on your acting career in the future.
Thank you so much.
And that's your daytime newscast for this Wednesday. TR Wheatley is back for your evening newscast in a few hours. Please join us then. From our HQ in downtown Winnipeg, Miigwech Masicho Kwana, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next day.